Hello, Haley. You had several questions in your email, so I figured I would just make a short video to try to answer some of your questions. So, as you can see, I already have Canvas open right here, and I can go to your class by going down here to the dashboard, and let's see, you are in this one right here. So, of course, the dashboard has all the different classes you're taking. It has, for me, it has different ones I'm teaching. So I'm going to click on this, and that brings up your week 1 module as well as week 2 module down here. And the first thing that you needed, past tense, to do was to read the to-do list, and that tells you what all you need to do this week. Now then, item number 6 is one that you asked about, was the lab right here. So it says download lab number 1, the write-up sheet, complete the lab, and then you're going to send it back to me. Okay, one other thing I want to point out right down here, you have to complete 2 assignments each week to be considered as attending class. Okay, so let's go back to that module, and notice there's to-do list for week 1. Down here, week 2, the very first thing is to-do list. Week 3, guess what? First thing is the to-do list for that week. Okay, we're back up week 1. Now then, here's your lab 1 write-up. So I'm going to click on that, and it brings it up in a reading screen, but that's really all we can do is read it on that screen. So have to download it. So I'm going to click download, and it's opening up. My computer's a little slow. Patience. There it is. Okay, so now then, I've got the sheet that I'm going to fill out. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put my name in here, so you can put your Haley Cockrell in there. I deduct 5 percentage points for not having a name on there. Now, one of the things to notice, when you do your write-up, this first section is procedures. Procedures are step-by-step what you did in the lab. It's basically a recipe for conducting the lab. Your procedures should have enough detail that someone unfamiliar with the lab could use your procedures as a recipe to run the lab. So, procedures is what you did. Down below, you're going to record your results. Results are what happened in the lab. So, up here we have what you did. Down here, you're going to record what happened. Okay, so let's reduce that for now. Let's go back to the module, and still in week 1 module, down here, the next item below the lab 1 write-up is the lab write-up examples. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to open up, and these are a couple of examples of what I consider to be very good lab write-ups. Now, I just noticed a few minutes ago that what I had put on the computer had a mistake in it, that apparently when I was manipulating this, I had copied the procedures for experiment 2 into experiment 1, and so let's just go on down here and look at the second student's write-up, because it's actually correct. And so this is an example of what I consider to be a very good write-up. They've got step-by-step how to do the experiment, and then come down here and they have the results. This is what the flask weighed empty. This is the flask and the stopper. This is what the flask weighed with the 15 milliliters of HCl in there. Now actually this person probably has a little more detail than is necessary. I don't think the lab really asks you to record the empty weight of the flask and the weight of the flask with the stopper and so forth. But this is still a very good job right here. They've got all their detail in here. I noticed one of the things that this person was missing is they only did this for 0.25 grams. In the instructions in the lab, it tells you to also come back and run it again with not 0.25 grams, but 25 grams, and just observe what happens and record that, what happened to it. So you've got some examples there of how to do the lab write-ups. Now then, let's go ahead and go to the lab. So I'm going to open another tab here, and I've got just a link to the lab. You might have to type in www.latenighlabs.com and then go to the lab. And according to your email, you've already registered for the lab, so you should be able just to click login. Now, yours will look a little different. Yours will probably only have this one class listed, but this is your General Bio 1 class. I'm going to click on that. And again, this sheet will probably look a little different for you. It probably won't say invite students, but it should have this right here, Introduction to Virtual Biology Labs. So I'm going to click on that, and there we go. We're walking into the lab now, and a few supplies will appear. There they are. So on the shelf we have containers, we have materials, and we have instruments. Go back to containers. Over here we have the lab manual. So open lab manual. So I'm just going to click on it, and this is the background. So read down through this. It gives me some background information before I attempt to run this lab. So I've read that. I'll go over here to procedures. Now, procedures gives me a step-by-step recipe for conducting the lab. And you're going to summarize these procedures and put that down under procedures for experiment 1. Again, what you have listed for procedures in experiment 1 should be detailed enough that someone could use your procedures as a recipe to run this lab. Okay, now then, this first lab is basically teaching you how to manipulate all this material in the lab. So you notice the first thing we're going to do, take the Erlenmeyer flask from the containers shelf. Containers shelf, Erlenmeyer flask, set it on the bench. Now we'll go down here and we want 15 milliliters of hydrochloric acid. Materials, hydrochloric acid. Now to put that in the Erlenmeyer flask, I'm just going to put it over the top of the Erlenmeyer flask. The Erlenmeyer flask glows blue when these two are attached to each other, so I can let go of it. Now I want 15 milliliters, so I'll just type in my 15 milliliters, tell it OK. I have 15 milliliters in the flask. So I'll just work my way on down through the set of directions here. Down here on number 5 says to go to the instruments shelf. I'm going to get the balance, put it down here, set my Erlenmeyer flask on the balance, and again notice it glow blue when they're attached. Now then, I've got 103 grams. If need be, I can go down here to the zoom, and I can zoom in on that so I can see it a little better. Okay? So 103 grams is one of the things I need to record in my data, in my lab write-up. Okay, so I'm clicking on that and just zooming back out. Now then, I'll just work through the rest of the procedures right here, record my results, and ready to go. Then I'll do the same thing with experiment 2. So once we're finished, we can come down here, clear the table. So there we go, cleared the table. And let's see, here's another tab that might be useful, show the lab manual. But we're ready to exit, so we can exit the lab. Now then, as I was working through the lab, I was recording my procedures right here. So step 1, this is what I did. Step 2, this is what I did. Step 3, and so on. Okay, then down here on results, I'm going to record my results. I had 103 grams for the flask plus the acid. There's going to be some other data I need to record along with that, but kind of like in the example write-up that I showed you a while ago, you want to record all your procedures and all your results. Okay, do the same thing for experiment 2. And now I'm going to save this to my computer because it may need that instructor may misplace it when you send it to him, and you may need to send it to him again. So I'm going to tell it save as, and let me find a good place to save this, and I'll just put it down here under, let's say, Spring 2018 biology class. So right there, I'll save that. And now then, get rid of this. Now I want to send that to my instructor. So let me go back over to Canvas. I'm going to go to the inbox. And this thing up here that for a long time I thought was a leaf, turns out that's supposed to be a writing quill, like an old-timey feather used for writing. So I'm going to click that to compose a new message and select course. This ought to have the courses you're taking. For me, it has the ones I'm teaching. And there's your course right there. Okay. Now then, let's see. I think if I click over here, it should bring up some options. Yes, teachers. Right here. That's who I want to send this to. There's only one teacher, Robert Hurley. So we'll send it to him. That's me. And then subject, lab number 1. My lab 1 is attached. So message right there. Paperclip is where I'll attach this. Click on that. I go back to where I have it stored on my computer. Right here. 2018, let me find it. There it is, right there. Now I've got it attached, and I can send it to the instructor. There we go. It is sent. Now then, if you have any other questions, go ahead and either send me a message through this Canvas messaging or send me an email, and I'll try to get back in touch with you as soon as I can. Thank you. Goodbye.